What's up, webheads? Welcome to another episode of Back to the Franchise.
You've got to come back with me.
Where?
Back to the
Franchise.
Anyway, guys, this is the franchise. This is the podcast where we talk about movie franchises as we run down new entries or old entries in relation to a new entry. So let us introduce ourselves. I am your friendly neighborhood host, Timothy Glenn. And with great power comes a great co-host. It's Tanner Wilcox.
Hey, everybody.
We are discussing Spider-Man today, the very first Spider-Man movie from 2002, directed by Sam Raimi, written by David Koepp, release date 5/3/02. Tanner, we moved on to another big franchise, finally, after 3 months.
Yeah, I as well as maybe a selection of the listeners are very pleased to be moving away from Star Wars. I love it. I love the property. I'm sick to death of talking about it. So give me something new. Here we go.
Well, you happy to know? I mean, we did The Last Airbender last week, but now we're like pretty much, we're no longer officially a Star Wars podcast because we're living up to our mission statement by doing franchises, multiple big franchises.
Glad to be here. Maybe not half my family will listen to it. Do you know how many people in my family, they said, we're not really big Star Wars people? Jaw on the floor. I was like, oh, well, your parents and your grandparents and you love me, but thank you for the support because you don't like Star Wars.
Tanner, you don't want to ask who's listening to us or not. Like, if they come to you and say, like, oh, I'm listening to the podcast, great. But you don't want to find out who's actually listening or not.
Maybe not, but I would expect my parents to listen to me, Tim.
I am also glad to be moving on from Star Wars. And Spider-Man in particular, I'm really excited for. So let's just get right into it. I should mention, though, guys, every Tuesday, expect us, whenever you get your podcast, we have new episodes every Tuesday. And before we go into this movie for Spider-Man, just know that we will be spoiling it. So if you have not seen this 24-year-old movie, and I hate the fact that I just said that out loud, 24 years old, that's like a quarter of my life. No, that's 3/4 of my life. There's only a quarter of it before this movie.
I was thinking about that last night where I was like, oh, I was a single digit age when this came out. Ugh.
Anyway, so Tanner, let's good segue. Let's get into it in terms of our personal history. So what is your personal history with this movie, but not just that, but Spider-Man as a character, as a property?
This movie was really kind of my first foray into like superheroes. I think for a lot of people, this was kind of like the first, maybe not the first big superhero movie. I mean, Superman in the 80s was big. The Batman movies in the 90s were big. But this was the first thing of my generation that I feel like really caught on with people my age. And certainly the first movie that I really paid attention to. I had a cousin who was really, really into Batman. And I just never, I love those movies now, but they didn't click for me as much when I was, 5. They were kind of dark, and I was like, yeah, whatever. So this movie, can't love it enough. Big fan. Spider-Man's always kind of been, I would say, maybe like my favorite superhero. Because even before this movie came out, I don't know how it got, introduced to me originally, but I had like Spider-Man toys and coloring books and stuff. So he was just always kind of like in my life.
Mm-hmm. Did you see this in the theater?
I don't remember. I think I did.
I don't remember either. I feel like I lean towards not, because I think my first memory of this was August of 2002. I was taking the train up from the Bay Area to Portland with my family, and this was playing on the TV there. I don't know why I remember that, but I was like, oh, this is interesting and scary and and actiony, what is this?
Oh, you know what? But I did see this in theaters, and I remember specifically now because I remember being a little kid and the part at the parade where the balcony gets bombed and breaks. I remember that being really, really loud in the theater, and I think I covered my ears.
I don't blame you. That's intense. I mean, let's see. This came out in 2002, so I would have been, when this came out, 8, and you would have been 9 because you're older than me. And, I don't think this would have been too intense for me at the time, because I had just seen, I think my first PG-13 movie was Fellowship of the Ring, which was 5 months before this. And I was totally fine with that. So I don't imagine that Spider-Man would have been an issue for me, but I just don't think I saw it.
No, and I remember things that like kind of like I remember watching Fellowship of the Ring in theaters, and at the first like orc, I was kind of like, ugh, that's scary. But it wasn't enough that I was like, I can't watch this or I need to cover my eyes. It just kind of, caught me off guard. And same with this. Like I remember Green Goblin being like kind of scary, but not,
Mhm.
not so much that I like couldn't watch it.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, Tim, Willem Dafoe by himself is scarier than Green Goblin.
Well, they definitely cast him right. That's for sure. I will say that as far as my history with Spider-Man, he's my favorite superhero. I read the comics as a kid. But at this time, I was not into him yet. It wasn't until the next one. So for whatever reason, this one wasn't the one that did it for me. But the next one would eventually kickstart my, like, I was a huge adoration of superhero and Marvel in particular when I was like 11 or so. But I do still have a lot of fondness for this movie as well. All right, let's dive right into it though, Tanner. Let's get into pre-production. So we're going to go all the way back to the early 1980s for this one, and strap in because this is a long production ride to actuality. There's a lot of
Oh,
different versions that we could have gotten that we did not get. Basically, in the early 1980s, superhero movies were this new concept with the Superman movies being so mainstream and popular. I believe Superman 2 came out in 1980. So by that time, you know, everyone was kind of taking notice of the blockbuster potential, I guess, of superhero movies. And so Marvel being Marvel, they're like, oh, we got to get in on this, because DC is kind of already ahead of us, which is ironic because of where they would they would swap places eventually. DC be saying that about Marvel later on, but yeah, so Marvel knows that Spider-Man's their flagship hero, so they're like, let's get Spider-Man movie out there and do what they did with Superman. They actually hired Stan Lee, the creator of Spider-Man, to write the first screenplay, interestingly enough.
really?
And you don't see that too often of like an actual, like a comic book writer writing a superhero or a movie.
Yeah.
Usually they don't really mix usually, unless it's like Frank Miller or something like that. But yeah, that would have been interesting to see. Obviously we don't get it, but I do have some notes here from his possible version. It was going to take place during the Cold War, as 80s. So there can be Cold War themes. And Dr. Octopus would have been the antagonist. I don't know if that would have meant Dr. Octopus would have been like Russian, but that seems to line up a little bit. But a little movie called Superman 3 came out in 1983, and that kind of put the kibosh on superhero movies back then. So that's why this one did not take off. Do you remember Superman 3?
No, I think I've only watched the original Superman.
It's a pretty big step down from Superman 2. I think that was the one with the new director. They didn't have Gene Hackman as Lex Luthor. They had Richard Pryor doing
Oh,
comic relief because he was a big name. It just didn't work. So
yikes.
no surprise that the genre took a downturn after
Yeah.
that. In 1985, the rights for Spider-Man, the movie rights, were acquired by the Cannon Group, but they and now this is probably the worst possible thing we could have gotten, is because they did not understand the property at all. They were like, oh yeah, Spider-Man, that dumb comic about the guy who turns into like a were spider. When
Oh,
the moon is full, his spider arms come out. Spider-Man.
yeah. Man Spider.
Right. So they were taking in kind of a horror direction, and they hire a guy named Leslie Stevens, the creator of The Outer Limits, which was like a show from the 60s, kind of very Twilight Zone-esque, hired to write the screenplay. And similarly, they would have been like, yeah, an experiment turns Peter Parker into a human tarantula monstrosity. That's not right.
No.
And in fact, they hired Toby Hooper to direct it, who Toby Hooper got on the scene with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the first one, and then at this point was just coming off of directing Poltergeist, sort of.
Really?
Yeah, I don't see it.
No.
Although I love Poltergeist.
I mean, but even if you're going to do, I mean, I know that the property is just entirely wrong, but even if you were going to do like a Spider-Man, Man-Spider horror movie, trying to pull that off in like 85, I'm very happy that this doesn't exist.
Yeah, it would have been like David Cronenberg's The Fly, but really, really bad. Yeah, and Stan Lee did not like. He was really upset that they were trying to make it into a horror movie. Thankfully, he got his wish. He was flabbergasted at what they were trying to do with it. But the next screenplay that came around, we'll get a little bit into like these possible like if Spider-Man came out in the 80s, who would be Peter Parker? The next screenplay they had John Cusack in mind to do.
To play Spider-Man or to like direct it?
No, to play Peter Parker.
Oh, okay. But like 80s John Cusack?
Yeah, so this would have been like right after he did like 16 Candles.
Oh, okay. Well, that's
probably
fine.
probably before he actually was big. I don't think he had done like Say Anything yet or whatever.
You know, I only like John Cusack before he was big.
I liked him before he was cool and not after. For whatever reason, though, their next director they line up to do. So this is another iteration. So forget John Cusack for now. This is the next iteration of the trying to make the movie. They hired Joseph Zito, who had just come off of Friday the 13th, the final chapter. So another slasher veteran for some reason.
What in the world?
I don't know. I mean, I think the final chapter is one of the better Friday the 13th. That's the one with Corey Feldman.
Yeah, but are they still trying to go for this like human spider thing? Because why try to pull from this group of horror directors?
I mean, I think it had more to do with the fact that at this time, superhero movies were not the big blockbusters, especially after Superman 3, that they are today. So if you want to hire a director on budget, a lot of these guys come from the horror field. So
that's true.
It's a weird precedent of what we would actually get with who actually directs this movie we're talking about today. So, guy from the horror field. So
yeah,
it does sound weird, but it was just, I guess, the times. I have some. They had a big cast list of who they wanted to get for this version. Tom Cruise as Peter Parker, who had just done Legend.
Oh.
Bob Hoskins as Dr. Octopus, aka Mario.
Yeah.
They were throwing around for Aunt May some classic film actresses, Lauren Bacall or Katharine Hepburn.
What?
Yeah, that was below them at the time that they made that. They're not going to get them, because I hope not. As Uncle Ben, they throw around the names Gregory Peck and Paul Newman, again, beneath them, probably at this time. Although, I mean, can you imagine, like, Atticus Finch saying, with great power comes great responsibility?
I mean, he kind of already does in To Kill a Mockingbird, so.
And as J. Jonah Jameson, they had in mind Stan Lee himself. Because, I mean, it makes sense because the character was based off of him to begin with in the comics.
Yeah, that would have been fun.
And he wanted to play him for years and years and years. I can't see anybody else playing that character than who does play him, but...
yeah, and I mean, I love who we got, so...
Mm-hmm. But just when we thought we might get Tom Cruise in a superhero movie the first time, before they tried again for Iron Man, in swoops Superman 4, The Quest for Peace, to completely, once again, make a mockery out of the genre completely and ruin any... That and Masters of the Universe also came out in 87 and were huge flops. And it prompted the studio to cut the budget for this Spider-Man movie like in half, from like 15 to 20 million down to like $7 million.
Oh.
So, yeah, that was not appealing, and I'm glad they didn't go forward after that. Justin Zito drops out at this point. They replace him with Albert Pune.
That name sounds like one of Laura Dern's pew pew sound effects. Lawrence Pew Pew.
Again, the film gets canceled. Canada gets bought out. Canada Film Group, and the rights in 1989 get sold to Carolco Pictures. And they finally get a competent director. They get James Cameron.
What?
Yep. Back in 89, so this is right when The Abyss came out. He'd done Terminator, Aliens, and The Abyss, I believe. Those were his movies at the time. He wanted to do X-Men if he was gonna do Marvel, but Stan Lee thought he'd be better for Spider-Man and convinced him to do Spider-Man instead.
Was X-Men like kind of in the works at the same time?
I don't believe so. I mean, obviously that X-Men does come out before Spider-Man because that comes out in 2000.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, I know that Marvel was prioritizing Spider-Man, and then for whatever reason, X-Men happened earlier.
Okay.
But I don't know for sure if that was like a project that was already in development or not. He was gonna have it be a very dark kind of superhero story. He wasn't really interested in making it like pulpy. He was going to have Electro as the main villain, and Sandman playing his like bodyguard, basically. Weird combination. He was going to include a scene of Spider-Man and Mary Jane Porkin on the Brooklyn Bridge. And I did write down one thing that actually did stick around for this. Like, so James Cameron's treatment, his screenplay or whatever, of all the things that because they eventually used it as the basis for this movie because it was the last like version of this movie before the one we got. And the one thing that stuck around was James Cameron actually was the one who came up with the idea for Spider-Man in the movie to have organic web shooters in his like wrists.
Really?
Yeah, because in the comics he has the gadgets,
Yeah.
which is consistent with the Garfield and the Holland movies later on. And I actually didn't know that because when I was a kid and these were the only movies, I was like, oh yeah, Spider-Man, it comes out of his wrists. Like he makes it himself. It just goes, Phew. So we actually have James Cameron to thank of that. And fans were really upset about that at first because that's like a key tenet of Spider-Man's, mythos is that he makes his own web shooters. So to go against that, it felt like sacrilege at the time.
Yeah, I wonder how that still stands because, like, I think that I prefer the organic method.
The organic method.
It just seems more like, I don't know, like divine, like God-given if this is like your power and you're a superhero, like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Well, it also requires, I mean, if you're going to have Peter Parker develop the web serum on his own and make a gadget for it, it requires him to be a lot more like like a mechanic or, an inventor kind of like, I mean, and we know he's a genius, but like it requires a whole new set of skills,
Yeah.
Whereas like this version of Peter Parker is not that. Like, I mean, remember the second movie where he's like having that montage and he's like spinning that bike wheel. He's like trying to fix his bike and the bike wheel goes out the window. He's
Yeah.
like, oh, sorry.
I'm like, oh, genius though. Okay.
And also like, if it was really that plausible to have, to invent this, where's my Spider-Man fluid? Where's my Hasbro toy that I can swing myself from?
Okay, first Tanner tangent. I will say that after this movie came out, for my next birthday, so it would have been my 10th birthday that year, I got the Spider-Man web shooter glove, which was a Spider-Man suit glove with like a Velcro canister on it. And it basically shot silly string. You put your fingers back and it pushed a trigger and it shot silly string out. The glove came with one can of silly string. And then I don't remember who, I think one of my grandmas bought it for me. But they got me 2 backup canisters because you couldn't at the time just go buy any silly string, of course. It had to be the Spider-Man licensed silly string that only fit this glove. So I got 3 cans of it. They were gone within 9 minutes of opening that present because every kid at my birthday wanted to try it. And I think to the relief of every adult there, they were like, great, because these kids are shooting us all in the fucking face with silly string. We're done. And I never got like another can of silly string because I think my parents were just, yeah, this is a toy we're not going to play with in the house because you're going to get silly string all over fucking everything.
You have a load of silly string and you were so excited that you only lasted 9 minutes. That's what you said.
That's not what I said.
It sounds like a really fun time is all I'm saying.
Yeah, it was fun until, it was fun until the silly string was gone. But anyway, Tanner tangent over. That was a great toy. Loved it. So you can actually get that, Tim.
But before we move on from James Cameron's version of this movie that never got made, his choice to play Spider-Man. Can you guess who it was? We're like the 90s now.
Oh, I don't know. It's gonna be like Bill Paxton.
You'd be a little old. Think, you're on the right track. Think James Cameron. It's Leo.
I was gonna say that, and then I was like, no, Leo would have been too young.
No, I mean he had just done like What's Eating Gilbert Grape. He was like what, like 16 in that?
Yeah, actually, Leo would have been like a perfect age for it.
I mean, Tobey Maguire is like 28 in this movie, so like
Yeah. Yeah, you know what
I mean,
though? I wouldn't have minded Leo.
yeah. Also, coincidentally, because it's Leo and DiCaprio, of course, we're talking about DiCaprio, was childhood best friends with the person who did get the role, Tobey Maguire.
Yes.
And they're part of the Pussy Posse, as they call themselves later on.
Yuck.
That's a real fact. You can look it up. Anyway, so yeah, this project does not take off because one of the producers from Canon, the previous owners, sues the production for not, including him. I don't really understand the minutia of how that worked, but Cameron, it basically prompts James Cameron to drop out and go make Titanic instead. So, no huge loss there, right? And he still uses DiCaprio. And then in 1996, Marvel files for bankruptcy. Marvel Comics was not in a good place in the 90s. And they had to sell a lot of this. Is why they sell a lot of their. Actually, this is why we kind of get a lot of Marvel movies because they have to sell everything to keep their heads afloat, So they sell the rights to Sony in 1998 for Spider-Man for $7 million, which, holy crap, did Sony get a return on investment from that really quickly.
Yeah.
And nowadays, Marvel has mostly reacquired every other right they sold off back in the 90s. So now it's under one umbrella, except for Spider-Man, is because it's too successful. Sony will never let it go.
Which is just really a shame too, because I feel like we could get a lot of really good stuff, and Sony just keeps pumping out garbage.
Well, they learned their lesson after their failed Spider-Man universe with no Spider-Man in it. After 6 movies?
Yeah.
Didn't work. But I like what they do with Spider-Man in the MCU. I just wish, we didn't have to, it was all on one umbrella.
Me too.
So now comes in the late 90s that this movie is really happening. And we are now in this production of this movie. This is where it starts. We got a bunch of directors being considered. I'm just going to run them all down, Tanner, and you can, pick out whatever ones you find notable. In alphabetical order.
We do okay, Tim, we should start a new segment.
Okay.
We should just do rapid fire yay or nay.
Okay.
So you should just, because I'm not going to remember the list. I can't ever remember the list. So you give me a name, and just off the top of my head, I'll just say yay or nay.
Okay. I'm also going to give what they had just done at the time.
Sure.
So, because, a lot of directors get worse over time, so I feel like it's not fair to judge them for things they did in the 2010s. But, so, okay, I'll start with the first one. Michael Bay of Armageddon.
Yay.
Okay. And he obviously doesn't get it. Instead, he does Pearl Harbor instead as his next movie. Jan de Bont of the Speed movies.
Ooh, did he do Speed 2? Oh, then it's a nay. Because
that was the one.
Speed is so great, and Speed 2, it feels like a 8th grader made it.
Yeah, it's that's one of the biggest drop-offs from one movie to the next I can think of. And Speed 2 was out at this time. So that was the year before this.
If we were just going based off of Speed, I'd say yay, give it to him. Speed's great. But because Speed 2 was already out, no.
Yeah. Tim Burton, who just did Mars Attacks.
No. Nay.
Yeah.
And you know what? No shade to Tim Burton. I love his Batman universe. I don't want every superhero movie to feel Tim Burton-y.
Yeah, it'd be weird if Marvel's just nowadays Marvel and DC keep stealing from each other anyway, but
true.
It'd be weird if back then
the Tim Burton aesthetic I think works in Gotham, but I feel like it doesn't work anywhere else.
No. And I'm sure they were just considering him because he was a big name at the time.
Sure.
And the next franchise he does get because he doesn't do this is Planet of the Apes, and that wasn't a good fit either.
No. Yeah. So
Yeah.
you know what, Tim? Nay.
Okay. Chris Columbus, whose last movie at this time was 9 Months.
I'm gonna say nay.
Yeah, why not?
Because I like Chris Columbus. I feel like I've liked everything he's done up until this point. I don't think I would have seen him doing anything like actiony. So I don't know that I would have thought he could handle it. Maybe post Harry Potter, I'd be like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah, because he'd only done comedies at this point. He did the Home Alone movies, the first two,
uh-huh.
Mrs. Doubtfire. Those are those big ones that I've seen anyway of his from back then.
See, and I mean all those movies I love.
Yeah,
But
too.
you know what? For an action movie or superhero movie, I'm gonna say nay.
Yeah, and yes, of course. He turned it down. He flat out said no to Spider-Man, and he does Harry Potter instead. So I think we got the best of both worlds with that one.
Yeah.
Even though his Harry Potters aren't what they would kind of become, but he does set the foundation. So I am glad that he does that. Next director, Roland Emmerich, who just did Godzilla, the American movie. Matthew Broderick.
Yeah. So he had done what? Independence Day and Godzilla.
Mm-hmm. Yes, those are the big movies he'd done.
As a studio exec, I probably would have said yay.
Yeah, I don't know. So Godzilla was 98 exactly. Let's see, release date May 20th. I don't know if that was before or after this decision came, but I hate Godzilla. I think it's a terrible movie. That the 90s one.
It's not good. I mean, as a kid, I liked it, but it's not good.
Oh, he also done Stargate from 94, which I don't like that one personally. Although I know some people do.
But I feel like Independence Day is kind of like his saving grace, where everyone's like, oh yeah, he can do it.
Yeah. If it was just Independence Day, I would say yay.
Sure. Okay. All right. Well then nay.
And instead of Spider-Man, he does The Patriot with Mel Gibson.
Oh, I love that movie.
Next director, David Fincher, who would just come off The Game with Michael Douglas. Yeah, what we keep talking about David Fincher. Like, I don't know why these studios keep trying to get him to do their big blockbusters. He's clearly in a different lane.
Yeah. He definitely feels very like indie thriller to me.
I mean, he was doing great stuff in the 90s, but
yeah, but not superhero stuff.
Yeah, he actually didn't. The part that didn't appeal to him for doing Spider-Man was he didn't want to do an origin story. Before, now everybody these days are like, just skip the origin story for superhero movies. Before that, he was already over it. But I don't feel like. I mean, I understand that it's like legwork you have to do, but I mean, for audiences who hadn't gotten a Spider-Man movie at the time, it's kind of essential.
Yeah.
So he wanted to adapt the night Gwen Stacy died from the comics, which is where the Goblin drops Gwen Stacy and she dies, and Peter tries to catch her, but she's her neck's broken. And instead of Spider-Man from Fincher, we get Panic Room.
Oh, I love that movie too.
Next director, Ang Lee, who
what
had just
he
done. He just did Sense and Sensibility.
Oh, so good. It's a nay for me though.
Yeah, I mean, I think because at this point he hasn't done Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. That was 2000, and if that had come out, I would say yes, this is the guy, because martial arts, action, wire work, all that stuff. Like he knows how to do action.
Yeah,
but at this time, I don't. He has other movies on here. I just didn't write them down. The Ice Storm from '97. I'm not familiar with that one.
Me either.
Yeah. Okay. But he does do a Marvel movie next because he does Hulk. So.
Ooh, not good.
Yeah. So maybe he should stay out of the superhero genre. Next director, Baz Luhrmann, who just done Romeo plus Juliet.
Nay.
Yeah. If it's a musical, sure.
Yeah, if it's not, you know what? And I don't feel like there's any explanation needed. It's just nay.
And instead of that, we get Moulin Rouge from him.
Again, I think we took the win with that.
Yeah. Next director, Tony Scott, who just done Enemy of the State, the Will Smith, Gene Hackman movie. Yeah, I think he could have done that.
Yeah.
I think Tony Scott movies kind of start to blend together after a while in terms of his style. But he was definitely at the height of his powers in the 90s.
Yeah. And I think he would have done fine.
Yeah. Crimson Tide, I love that movie. That's 95. Instead of Spider-Man, he gives us Spy Games with Brad Pitt and Robert Redford. Not bad. It's okay. Next director. Speaking of, we just did The Last Airbender, M. Night Shyamalan.
Nay.
Who, at this point, if this is 98, Sixth Sense hadn't come out yet. Because that was 99. So I don't know why they would be thinking about him. But
Maybe he was like a later consideration.
maybe. And his movie in 02 is Signs. So I'm happy with that result as well.
Me too. Love that movie.
And last director, I have Barry Sonnenfeld of Men in Black.
Yeah, yay. If I want to give it to him off of Men in Black, I think he could have done like a fun version.
He also did the Addams Family movies from the 90s, their first
Oh,
two.
yeah. I'm going to say yay.
Okay. I think he's got a little bit too much of a comedic edge to his movies, but I mean, the first Men in Black is pretty good, so he does action well now. Although in 99, he comes out with Wild Wild West, so maybe I'm speaking too fast.
Oh, yeah. Ugh.
Yeah. And then Men in Black 2 is his movie from 02, and I don't like that one nearly as much as the first one. Okay, so let's put that to bed, because in January of 2000, we get Sam Raimi hired to direct this movie. And he was coming off, Sam Raimi, he's known for the Evil Dead franchise. He did the first three, Evil Dead 1, 2, and Army of Darkness. But in the late 90s, he kind of shifts genres a little bit for a second, because he does The Quick of the Dead, which is a Western, and A Simple Plan, which is a like thriller drama-esque crime movie. And that was a big like awards movie too. So I'm sure that was a big appeal for Sony getting him.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we in hindsight know what his Spider-Man looks like, but at the time, does that choice inspire confidence, do you think? Yay or nay?
Yeah, I think maybe I'd be a little worried that it would be too dark.
Mm-hmm.
But
I should mention he did do the superhero genre before with Darkman in 1990. Did you ever see that?
no.
It had Liam Neeson as the main character, and I didn't see it either, but it's like a cult film. Anyway, so yeah, that was their first choice apparently, Sony's, and they got him. So good for them. They knew something that we didn't apparently. And also hired at the time is David Koepp, who did like Jurassic Park in the 90s. He was just coming off of Stir of Echoes, and he's got a movie coming out next, and I think the week this comes out. He wrote that Disclosure Day movie. Yeah, so we'll see how that goes. Writing. So yes, in the first draft of this movie, we again had Electro as the main antagonist.
Interesting.
I don't know why. I mean, I think Electro. I kind of think like if you want to tier Spider-Man villains, I would probably go kind of in the order the movies,
Yeah.
do. Like I feel like every time they make a new movie, they're like, okay, who's next at the bottom of this barrel that we still haven't done yet, And Electro's in the 5th live action movie, so that's about right. But they switched the villain from him to Green Goblin, because they wanted to focus more on the father-son dynamics of this movie, like how you have Peter and Uncle Ben, you have Harry and Norman, Peter and Norman, kind of. So I thought it was like more thematically appropriate to do.
I would
Goblin.
agree with that.
Although also included in that draft of the story was going to be Dr. Octopus as your secondary antagonist.
Yeah, but I'm glad that they saved him for Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, me too. 100%.
I think he
obviously in hindsight, that makes sense because we, how good Spider-Man 2 is. But
yeah.
I mean, it's hard to do, like, when you're doing an origin story movie, like, having to do the origin story of, like, 2 other villains it's a lot to ask for.
Yeah.
So, I'm glad they kept it simple with this one. And Raimi it was Sam Raimi's decision to cut Doc Ock, specifically, because he wanted to focus on Norman and Peter. So, good call. Okay, let's get into casting. This is a big movie to cast. So, obviously, we get Tobey Maguire as Peter Parker, a.k.a. Spider-Man. He was just coming off of, I think the movie that won him the role pretty much was the Cider House Rules. Big awards movie.
Yeah.
99. Would that be a yay or nay casting at the time for you?
Yay.
Do you want to do a yay and nay again with this this list? I also have a bunch of actors as well.
Yeah, we can. Maybe make it like a little more rapid fire.
Okay, rapid fire. Wes
Yeah.
Bentley,
Nay.
Zach Braff,
Nay.
Chris Klein,
Nay.
Jude Law.
Yay.
Oh, interesting. Heath Ledger,
Yay.
Ewan McGregor,
Nay.
Freddie Prinze Jr.,
Nay.
Chris O'Donnell,
Nay. Too old.
also in Robin already.
Yeah, and I think it'd be too hard to separate him.
Yeah. And Scott Speedman.
Yay.
Okay, so you said yay to Ledger, Speedman. Did you say yes to Freddie Prinze? You said yes to Jude
No,
Law.
he was a him and haw for me, but I said nay.
You said Jude Law.
Yeah. Surprised myself.
And I think Jude Law was the next closest to getting it at the
Okay.
time. He had done Talented Mr. Ripley in '99, which we watched that one together. It's a great movie.
Great movie. And I'm trying to, it's hard for me now because I'm trying to think about what they would have looked like in like 98, 99, 2000.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to think of which, because they all feel kind of too old for me. But
Well, because
I
we
guess
know
I
them
can-
now as like 50-year-old actors.
Sure. And I mean, and even Tobey Maguire, we already said, kind of already looks too old to play a high schooler in this movie. But for some reason, it works for me.
Yeah. If I were to choose from this list, I don't know. Jude Law seems a little bit too handsome for me.
That's why I said no to like Chris Klein. He looks a little too like Clark Kentish for me.
Well, and he's a bad actor, so.
Well,
Sorry, Chris. I love you in Election. You're perfect for that part in Election. I like you in American Pie. Everything else, you're terrible. You know, I would, yeah, Ewan McGregor already Obi-Wan Kenobi, so that's no.
yeah.
But you know what? If I were to cast this, not including Tobey Maguire, I think I would go Heath Ledger. I think he's got the right amiability at the time.
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
He just done The Patriot, as I mentioned, but he also did 10 Things I Hate About You.
Yes.
And I think that's kind of the right energy. Like I can just put a pair of glasses on him and cut his hair, and
yeah.
I could see it. And of course, I mean, I'm using the benefit of hindsight, just knowing that he's probably the best actor of this list. But I think he would have crushed it.
See, and that's kind of why I said no to Freddie Prinze Jr. Because I'm like, I feel like he would have been young enough because he had done, like She's All That.
Yeah.
He was obviously at the time like hottie. Everybody was like, ooh, Freddie Prinze Jr. But in my mind, I was like, ugh, no, bad actor.
Yeah. I mean, I like Freddie Prinze, but you got to cast him in the right roles.
And I think, and maybe he could have got like the panicky teenager thing down because I think he could have. Because I'm trying to like hear him as like Fred and like being able to do it, but I don't know that I ever would have taken him like seriously in like the life or death moments.
You know, maybe because that was also a No 2 movie, the first Scooby-Doo. Maybe if they did cast Freddie Prinze, we'd have a Tobey Maguire playing Fred in that movie.
Oh God,
that does not work at all.
No.
That's the worst idea ever. Okay, let's move on to Norman Osborn, aka the Green Goblin. So we get Willem Dafoe for this one, who had just been coming off a Oscar nomination for Shadow of the Vampire, which I watched that recently for the first time. It's a pretty good movie.
Oh, I've never seen it.
It's about the making of Nosferatu, the 20s silent film.
Yeah.
And it's basically because back when they're making that movie, they were saying like how, oh, this actor is so fucking scary, he might actually be a vampire. So this movie is about like, what if he actually was a vampire? It's kind of fun, it's obviously wasn't true, but
yeah,
it's a neat little, anyway. So Will Dafoe, this is a 10 out of 10 casting, like at the time, in hindsight, all of it perfect.
Yeah, I feel like I don't even need to rapid fire him because I'm just like, yep, Willem Dafoe, great.
I do have a few names though, so I'll say who they were also talking about. Nicolas Cage.
Nay.
Yeah, same. Jason Isaacs.
Yeah. Yay.
Yeah, I'll say yay too. John Malkovich.
Nay.
Yeah, I can't hear. I could see him being Norman Osborn. I can't hear him playing Green Goblin with
No,
the voice.
I don't like John Malkovich as a villain. I feel like it's not believable.
And he was speaking of Malkovich, he was circling playing Vulture in one of the later ones as well for a while because they're like, oh,
Oh.
bald actor.
Yeah.
And lastly, Billy Bob Thornton.
Ugh, nay.
Yeah, that's a name for me too. Although I think Billy Bob Thornton, the appeal was that because he had also done A Simple Plan, so he had just worked with Raimi. So, but no, I don't see it. If I had to cast out of this list, I would pick Jason Isaacs as well. Of these, I
Yeah,
mean,
me too.
he's perfect villain. Like he's just you slot him in. He plays Lucius Malfoy over here. He plays the general and the patriot over there. Norman Osborn fits right in between those personas. So
Yeah. I think he would have done great.
yeah, but they all turned it down. All four of those people.
Oh.
Yeah, interesting. And you know what? Speaking of Jason Isaacs, though, because Ochu, Chamber of Secrets came out that year,
Mm-hmm.
Harry Potter. So if we probably wouldn't get him as Lucius Malfoy in that movie if he does Spider-Man.
Yeah, and I much prefer him as Lucius Malfoy.
Okay, moving on. Mary Jane Watson. So they get Kirsten Dunst, who is just coming off Bring It On, and I'm gonna give a hot take. I don't think that movie's like all that great. It's
Bring It On.
okay. Yeah,
I love that movie.
it's. I don't think it's that funny, but I mean, I didn't grow up with it. But I mean, Kirsten Dunst, did plenty of great shit in the '90s. Like, starting from, she's the best thing in Interview with the Vampire. Jumanji, she's good in that too.
Uh-huh.
So I mean, she's already proven.
Well, and then she did Drop Dead Gorgeous was 99.
99, yeah.
What a sleeper hit, because if you're going to talk about comedy, so much funnier than Bring It On.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
It's not as mainstream, but so good.
That whole cast is like, there's a lot of really like Amy Adams in that movie when she's young.
Oh yeah,
great cast.
a great Allison Janney part. I love that movie.
Yeah. Okay, so let's do another rapid fire yeah or nay. So, Kate Bosworth,
Nay.
Eliza Dushku. Speaking of Bring It On,
She's too hot.
I don't know. I wouldn't say she's too hot. I would say she's too edgy.
Yeah, she's too like badass for it.
You have to rewrite the part.
Okay, all right. So nay to Eliza.
Yeah, I say so too. Jamie King.
Nay.
Yeah, I don't really know her from a lot of. I feel like she hasn't had like a big role in her whole career. But sorry, Jamie King. I mean, the first thing I think about her is like My Bloody Valentine. So there you go. Julia Stiles. Speaking of 10 Things I Hate About You.
Yay.
I agree. Mena Suvari.
Yay.
From American Pie, American Beauty.
Yeah, I like at the time I'd say yay.
Yeah. And I have a friend who knew this girl on a movie set. He calls her arch enemy, Alicia Witt.
I don't know who that is.
She was my friend would be very happy to hear you say that. She was the main lead in Urban Legend. That's what I know her from. She's a redhead. The movie that I was talking about that he was on was Mr. Holland's Opus.
Oh, she. Ugh. Okay. Sorry. We talked about this one time because is she in Last Holiday with Queen Latifah?
I think so.
I made you watch that. And she's the one where she goes to the resort and she's sleeping with the senator, and Queen Latifah's like, being the other woman is, yes, that's her. And then she ends up being her friend at the end. Hated her in that movie. She's a snotty, ugly, ginger bitch.
That's what my friend says about her all the time. I mean, it's probably my story to tell, but my friend was an extra on Mr. Holland's Opus. Didn't make any of the scenes, but he was there for the whole shoot. And he said that he had he went on like a paintball or laser tag party or something like that. And he was talking a lot to Richard Dreyfuss, and he said that Alicia Witt was being a dick to him because she was like, "Who are you? You're just an extra. You don't have a part."
Oh.
No, she didn't say that, but that's how you felt, like the vibe,
Well, you know what, Alicia Witt? Who are you? Because you only knew from that one slutty bitch on Last Holiday. What a career.
Yeah, I actually just saw her. I'm watching The Sopranos for the first time, and she showed up in season 2,
Oh,
also playing a redheaded bitch. That's kind of her playing
yeah. You know
me
what?
because
I'm going
she
to say
is.
nay.
Yeah, I mean, she's the only natural redhead on here, I think.
Yeah, I was going to say she
So,
actually, I think, would have looked the part very well.
but no, she's not the right fit. Oh, lastly, Kate Hudson.
Yay.
Yeah, I would say so as well. And actually, but she turned this movie down. She had just done Almost Famous and got an Oscar nomination from that. But she turned this movie down to be in The Four Feathers. Have you seen that?
No,
Neither have I. I had to look it up.
probably not a good
And
choice, kid.
honestly, if I was casting this, I might give it to Kate Hudson. Like, I think she got the right
Yeah,
vibe.
I also think that, well, yeah, I was thinking Julia Stiles too, but I think Julia Stiles is maybe too. She might have been like too girl next door, like too nice for it.
I was gonna say she seems to, because in all her movies, she's kind of like a know-it-all, like snotty kind of character.
Yeah, but Mary Jane is not like a, I don't know. She's not like a quiet, she's not like a shy girl next door type.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I wouldn't cast her. I think she's almost. I think she's pretty close, but
Yeah, because I mean, but in all honesty, yeah, like Kate, I think would have been good, but I also really like Kirsten Dunst in it. So
you know, when I read that, when I read Kate Hudson almost got it, I was like, you know what, I might even replace Kirsten Dunst with Kate Hudson. I'm gonna say it. I want to see it.
I mean, I don't think I
And
would have been.
the only other person I also wanted to like that kind of struck me as a good possibility, not because they're a good actor, but I think they would fit the part, is Mena Suvari. I think she's got the right look and the right, attitude. Like I could definitely see her being in this movie as Mary Jane.
Me too. Yeah,
But I mean, she doesn't really have like the acting chops, I feel like, comparatively, but I think she fits the part better than a lot of these actors that are better than her.
yeah,
But
that's true.
okay, moving on. James Franco as Harry Osborn. Franco, of course, auditioned to play Peter, so he got remembered for that, and they brought him back to play a different character.
Yay!
You did not like him in this movie?
I'm not a Franco fan at all.
Oh, and anything?
Not really. No.
Oh, okay.
Even before his like controversy, I just kind of find him annoying.
Yeah, I mean, I think I like him in this part. I think he fits the rich kid, kind of wants to be on the down low with Peter, but also thinks he's kind of better than him too at the same time,
Yeah,
Like,
like
I think he fits that mold.
I think he's good in this movie. But I just in general, I'm not a huge Franco fan.
I'm so glad they didn't cast him as Peter. I mean, that would have been terrible.
Yeah.
Ben Parker, played by Cliff Robertson, who I can't see anybody else playing him now. Like, that is my Uncle Ben.
Yep. Agreed.
Sorry to what's his name, Martin Sheen, who plays him next, but this is Uncle Ben. I'm sorry. And playing May Parker is Rosemary Harris, who was in The Gift directed by Sam Raimi before this, so she's also already a collaborator of Raimi's.
I also love her in this.
And Rosemary Harris is like one of like the people I like. I'm just waiting because she's 98. She's still alive. She's still kicking.
Good for you,
So,
girl.
and I hope I don't jinx her. I hope that like in a couple of weeks we're not talking about her in the legacy section of this podcast. But I love her. She is also my Aunt May, like in anything.
Yeah.
I mean, I love what's her name, Marissa Tomei, as well. But
Bro, you can't just gloss over Sally Field.
I'm gonna gloss over Sally Field. I'm sorry.
I don't like Sally Field as Aunt May, but I love Sally Field and everything else.
Oh, sure. No. Sure. But I mean, she's kind of the in between,
Yeah.
like middle. It's okay. J.K. Simmons as Jane Jonah Jameson. I mean, is there a better casting in all of film history than this?
No, it's a 10 out of 10. No notes.
Yeah, it's absolutely perfect. But I do have names for this one too. So, also considered for J. Jonah Jameson, R. Lee Ermey,
Nay.
Hugh Laurie,
Nay. Nay.
Michael Keaton. Speaking of Batman,
Nay.
and When you mentioned this name earlier, I was like, where does he figure out in this again? Bill Paxton.
Ugh, super nay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's controversial. So we got the best option easily.
Yeah.
Even knowing not seeing these other ones, the only one I could see playing this part as well is Arlie Ermy, because he's already a drill instructor. He's got that like brusque nature already. So I could see him doing it, but it wouldn't be, it's not J.K. Simmons. J.K. Simmons is J. Jonah Jameson.
Yeah.
And one last name I forgot. Stan Lee still wanted to play this part at this time. He was still
Really?
lobbying for it, yeah. But he was deemed too old. At the time, he was 78.
Yeah, I mean, even his cameo in this movie, you're like, ooh, Stanley's old.
But this is like one of the most like blink and you'll miss it of his cameos.
Yeah.
For those who don't know who he is in this movie, he plays one of the parade bystanders during the goblin attack. He pulls like a kid out of the way of some falling debris. I had to remember to look for him because I'm always like, I know who he is in 2, I know who he is in 3. Who is he in the first movie? And I always forget because he has no line. But anyway, supporting roles, we got Joe Manganiello as Flash Thompson before he was a big thing, or I guess not a big thing, but a thing.
That like kind of shocked me.
This is his first role in anything.
Because rewatching it, I was like, oh my god, that's Joe Manganiello.
Can you believe he also auditioned for Peter Parker?
Yeah, and even him, like,
Too big.
Yeah, he's like too like hulky.
He's 6'5". I just googled it. That's way too big. He could play the Hulk.
Yeah, and
not Bruce Banner, but the Hulk.
No, he's 6'5", and he was like ripped already.
Oh my god! Can we just talk for a second how like every high schooler in this movie is like in their 30s?
Yeah. 100%.
Like the scene in the first scene of them at the observatory or the science building, the Columbia University, whatever. And they're all like yabbering during the lecture. I'm like, you are still in high school? You are 35.
Every one of them. The teacher's like the same age.
Yeah, the teacher looks younger than his students.
Yes.
It's just the glasses and the demeanor that's different. But he could. Did he audition for Peter Parker? Oh god. Yeah. I mean, like, I feel like nowadays people like casting is a little more skewing to like actual age for teenagers. But man, this is one of the worst examples of that. Not like in like they ruined it kind of way, but like it's pretty glaringly obvious that they're not high schoolers.
Yeah.
If you told me they were in college, I'd still like be like, I don't know. I mean, Joe Manganiello looks like he plays like first base for the Mets. Like that guy's.
Yeah, he straight up looks 37.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on. Bill Nunn plays Joseph Robbie Robertson, and I love him. He's great. Ted Raimi, Sam Raimi's brother, shows up as Ted Hoffman, who he's gonna show up in the sequels. He's the one thing I could get rid of in these movies. I mean, it's comedic relief, but it gets a little old. I think J. Jonah Jameson is relief enough for me. Anyway, nepotism. And lastly, Elizabeth Banks as Betty Brant before she was a thing.
And like, what a tonal shift, because Betty Brant in this, so sexy.
Oh my god. Okay. Like, I think it's in the third one when Peter is like, emo and like confident. They have like that like flirtatious moment. And I'm like, I need to see a movie where you guys are dating. Like, I need it. I need more Elizabeth Banks.
I'm just going to say I don't need to see any movie where Spider-Man 3, Tobey Maguire's in anything. Emo Toby can vanish from my screens forever.
Okay. I'm saying that more as like a compliment to Elizabeth Banks because she is so underused in these movies.
Oh yeah, and she's so bangarang in these movies.
Even though she's wearing it. Okay. Wig blindness guy here, but that's a wig, right?
Yes.
Okay.
That's a good wig. It's not a good wig actually, but it's just,
if I can see it, it's not a good wig. But
no, but I mean, like, you can't get like a cunty bob like that naturally.
Is that the actual terminology?
Yeah. I I had to ask you not to jump too far ahead and to stray from this movie, but when Betty gets reintroduced in the Marvel universe in Far From Home, I had to ask you who that character was because
Yeah.
she's like, like the dorky kind of school reporter that
Yeah,
does
she's a high
like the
school student.
morning announcements in the news. And I was like, who the fuck is this character? And you're like, that's Betty who works at the Daily Daily Bugle. And I was like, what? And you're
Yeah.
like, Elizabeth Banks? And I was like, this is supposed to be the same person?
Different universe, but yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, that just like blew me away.
Before we move on from Elizabeth Banks, she also auditioned for Mary Jane, but she was deemed too old because she was 28.
I'm like, hello, look at everybody else cast as a high schooler.
I know. I think in the thing I found, it's like it says she's 16 months older than Tobey Maguire. It's not that big of a deal.
But Kirsten Dunst has to be like 10 years younger.
Oh yeah, because Kirsten Dunst is like an actual like. Well, I think she's a teenager when she gets cast. Like, so she's
But I mean,
probably
she
like
has
20,
to be
21.
actually like an 18 or 19-year-old when this started, right?
Yeah, she was pretty young. Let me
Yeah.
look it up really quick. Kirsten Dunst.
See?
Let's see.
Fucking Hollywood sexism.
Born in 82. Oh, so she was 19 when they filmed this. Yeah.
But Tobey
Still a
Maguire
teenager.
could be 30.
Oh, you're too old, Elizabeth Banks.
Yeah.
Try playing Miss Daisy.
Why don't you read for Aunt May, crusty bitch?
On behalf of all men, we apologize for double standards in Hollywood.
Yeah, sorry, ladies.
Okay, and I'm gonna mention some quick cameos. Randy Savage, the wrestler, as Bonesaw McGraw. Love him in this movie.
Literally one of my favorite. Anytime I'm fortunate enough in life to have someone say that we have 3 minutes to be somewhere, or that it'll take 3 minutes, I have to audibly scream 3 minutes of playtime every single time.
And anyone who doesn't know what you're talking about is like, what?
Yeah, the bone saw.
See, I have one too, but mine is when someone asks, like, are you ready? I'll say, Bonesaw is ready.
I think that Bonesaw may be my favorite thing to come out of these movies.
Oh, it's so good. I did find a little, since we're talking about him in this, I did find that he did suffer a neck injury while filming that sequence, the wrestling sequence, but
Oh, sad.
apparently he's still going. Well, I mean, he's dead now, but he didn't
I was like,
delay his
he's
career.
not still going.
No, but after that, it wasn't like
Yeah, detrimental to him.
Speaking of that sequence, though, we also got Bruce Campbell, obligatory Bruce Campbell cameo in a Sam Raimi movie, playing the ring announcer. And a pre-fame Octavia Spencer as the receptionist.
Uh-huh.
And she was like doing this for a long time. Like she was like just a character actor, like for nameless roles for years and years and years and years and years before she got actual parts.
Yeah, every once in a while, I'll still see a movie that I don't remember that she's in, and I go, Octavia Spencer. Every time.
One of her last ones, she's got one from The Big Bang Theory where she plays like a receptionist. Did you watch that show? I think it's the episode where Howard makes like the robot hand that can,
Oh, yeah.
and she's like, "Where's the rest of the robot?" And he's like, "I only made the hand because that's all you needed." I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but I think that's her in that one. But yeah, great career. And again, like great actor. I'm so glad that like she got like the help, and now like she's actually has parts. And she's great in this movie. I noticed like her one scene is one shot, and she has like 4 or 5 lines, and they're complicated lines of like legalese, but she nails it.
Yeah, it's good. It's funny.
Okay, and last cameo we didn't get apparently, and I'm taking with a huge grain of salt, but apparently we were going to get a Hugh Jackman cameo as Wolverine in this movie.
Oh, I heard a rumor about that a long time ago.
Like apparently, yeah, it was gonna be like a walk on, like just there for a second, kind of. But I don't know. I don't know how close to that being reality. I think at the time, like, Wolverine was like the other big Marvel movie superhero. And so they're like, oh yeah, let's get him in the Spider-Man movie. Maybe we can cross over universes or whatever. But I think it was just talk. Like I don't really believe it because also different studios, But the reason they gave for why they didn't do it was they couldn't find the suit, so no one would get it if he doesn't have his black leather suit. Because no one recognizes him for his weird hair and what's the beard?
His sideburns,
not sideburns, but like
or his like mutton chops.
Mutton chops. Thank you. Yes, or his like cigars smoking. Like we wouldn't get it from that.
Yeah.
Anyway, kind of funny. Okay, let's move into filming. So the release date of this one was originally November 2nd of 01. And it would have gone up against Monsters, Inc. that weekend if it had stuck with that. Can you imagine? Two classics. But probably because principal photography doesn't start until January of 01, and it lasted until June of 01, so that's why they pushed back to May of 02. They film in Culver City, California, for all of the indoor sequences, the wrestling match, the Parker House, studio lot stuff, Oscorp Laboratories, the rooftop where Spider-Man and Goblin have that like little powwow, and Times Square, of course, as well. Before they leave Los Angeles, they also film at the National History Museum. It doubles as the Columbia University Laboratory, and they also shoot the Daily Bugle interiors there as well. And the Osborne Mansion as well is in Beverly Hills. It's the Greystone Mansion.
Oh, like just the interiors?
Yeah. Interiors, yeah.
Yeah.
And then they move to New York City after that. So they get all of like the easy stuff done first, and they go back and do the outdoor stuff. They film at the Queensboro Bridge for the final battle, the Flatiron Building, which is the Daily Bugle, which I always, whenever I see that building in real life in other non-Spider-Man movies, I'm like, oh, it's a Daily Bugle. And I think they actually put it in like the Spider-Man games too. So I always try to find it at that building. Rockefeller Center, they filmed the rooftop garden where I think that's where Peter drops off MJ after he saves her from the parade. Fall. They also film at the Columbia University's library, New York Public Library. They also shoot in Queens because that's where they live. They shoot the cemetery scene in Valhalla, New York, a little bit upstate. And so this isn't really a filming location, but I just wanted to mention while we're in the filming section, so I don't forget, the scene where Peter catches the tray of cafeteria items.
The single take scene?
Yes. Was a practical effect. People will be like, oh, that's CGI. No. They glued his hand down to the bottom of that tray, McGuire. And guess how many takes it took? No, that'd be amazing. It took just one. Got it in one.
It took 191 takes.
In between, it took 156 to get it right.
And
it was 16 hours of filming.
Good Lord. Speaking of practical effects in this movie, the rooftop garden where he drops MJ off.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever noticed the trampoline bounce in that scene? I love it.
Yeah, I know. Where he where he leaves.
He like drops off and he's like, gotta run. And he goes and like front flips over the hedge, but you can see him like hop on this little mini trampoline to do the flip. And then Kirsten Dunst like runs up to the hedge, but she has to like run around the trampoline. Like you can see her like sidestep around it. And every time it's on now, I'm like, oh, there's a trampoline there.
Just to go back to the tray sequence again, I wanted to like rewatch it because I want to see like when the cuts are, because can you imagine if like Tobey Maguire caught that and then Kirsten Dunst's reaction wasn't like, holy shit, like what if she didn't like land it? Like, because
I'm sure that after she filmed it 156 times, she probably was like, ugh.
No, but I am watching the shot now, and in the shot where the lunch items land on the tray, it does include. It's the same shot when she has her reaction too. So,
is it?
They would have had to edit around that if they, Anyway, so she was good enough to nail that after he did that for real somehow. Also, like, how the hell? If I was in that scene, I'd be like, Sam, we're never gonna get this. This is not gonna happen. And then lastly, we'll do post-production really quick. Tanner, do you remember the early advertising for this movie?
No.
So, obviously, this movie films in June. It finished filming in June of 2001. And they're already promoting it before or after, shortly after they complete production as a big movie coming out next year. And obviously, this being a New York set movie in 2001, they had to get rid of some stuff. Because of 9/11 happening just a few months after they finished filming, they do have to remove the Twin Towers from the movie itself. And there was also in the advertising they had one poster that was like
I'm sorry to cut you off. There's a poster where he's like on the World Trade Center, right?
no, there's a trailer where he catches like a helicopter in between the towers, like in a web. And actually, that was in the movie. That was actually a scene in the movie at first, but they cut that obviously. And then there was a poster of his mask, and in the mask, like in the eye reflection, there was the World Trade Center.
That's what it was. I had a promotional like flyer or poster or something when I was a kid that had, I remember like vividly like that shot.
Yeah.
I don't know what that was, but it must have been like early promo.
I was gonna say, if you had a poster of that, like, because they distributed them, they were out there.
Oh yeah, no, I'm sure they were like big money.
Oh yeah, those are like, that's like Revenge of the Jedi, like, valuable. But while we're talking about, okay, so that was my last post production note before the review section. But since we're kind of already talking about 9/11, I kind of want to transition into the final battle on the Queensboro Bridge. So this is now the review section of the podcast.
Okay.
But and I didn't really think about this for a long time. And I can't take credit for it because I think I saw it in a YouTube video. So credit goes to the channel Movie Bob for this insight. But in retrospect, I mean, obviously they filmed this sequence before the actual event happened, 9/11. But in retrospect, it's almost like really fitting and like in a weird way, because you have Spider-Man in New York, a superhero, trying to save a bunch of innocent people, the kids on the car, or what do you call it, the
Cable car.
cable car. Yes, thank you. And Mary Jane, on the other hand, and he's strained himself. He's he can't defend himself because he's holding on for dear life for these two parties. And here comes Green Goblin, this flying terrorist. Like, let's not sugarcoat it. Like, Green Goblin is a terrorist.
Yeah.
You know? And then you get this moment where and you could call it kind of cheesy, where the people on the bridge, throw, I don't know, produce at him, or I forget what it is, but stuff to mess up his gliding. And they say, like, you don't pick on a guy who's trying to save a bunch of kids. And he's like, that's the thing about us New Yorkers. You mess with one of us, you mess with all of us. And in hindsight, like, obviously I was too young to understand this in 2002. But in terms of where the country was at the time, and not just the country, but the city of New York, like one of the biggest events in the last 50 years, historically, like what that must have meant for them,
Yeah.
like, obviously this is all coincidental. It's totally happenstance because they filmed it before. They had no idea. But it is so, like, I kind of gives me the chills thinking about it, because, like, I mean, for a lot of us who were alive when that happened, it's like one of our most formative memories. We all have like a story of where we were, right?
Yeah.
So we know, us, millennials, how it affected the country. So I just feel like, I don't know, like, I just think that it's really important, that scene, like, in film history, not because of what's on screen, but what's around it and surrounding it, what's like adding to the discourse,
Yeah. I mean, but I think that's really like, I don't know, intentional or not, I think people just really like resonate with stuff that is uplifting and hopeful and meaningful. And I think that during that time period, like you said, like it is extra impactful. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, and it gives, something that people kind of I think about superhero movies is that they're just kind of like dumb fluff, like whatever. They're just popcorn movies, but I think they really
Mhm.
can be like a bigger narrative for like camaraderie and community and the greater good. And
Yeah.
yeah,
It
I
was the
think
right it was the right movie at the right time, basically.
yeah,
And people kind of look back. I mean, this movie is in a lot of ways kind of outdated in terms of how superhero movies would evolve from here. And people don't usually cite this as their favorite Spider-Man movie. I mean, it's up there for sure, but I just it's one of those things where I just like I try to give this movie a little bit more credit for what it did, and for the time it came out. I think this is one of the most, for a lot of reasons, this is the one of the most influential movies of the 21st century so far.
yeah, agreed.
I guess to transition from that into like superheroes. I mean, like I feel like Blade came out in '98, and that kind of got the ball rolling for Marvel, and then you get X-Men to that 2000. But I don't really feel like until Spider-Man comes out that the superhero genre is like clicking and like this is what it will be from now on. Is this?
Yeah.
It's the template, and because they got it so right, they nailed it. So what about this movie do you want to talk about review wise?
Um, I I love this movie. I mean, and I know you said that a lot of people don't consider this like their favorite Spider-Man movie, but I might be one of the few that it I think it is like right up there at my top, or at least my top two.
Hmm.
Um, it's a heavy nostalgia movie for me. It was a big part of my childhood. I think this was the first thing that kind of gave me my look into superheroes and to make that kind of like an accessible form of like media for me. Because
Hmm.
I was not like a comic book kid, so it was really like eye opening. And yeah, I love everything about this movie. There's things that are easy to pick apart. Like there's certain scenes, of course, where the CGI is not great. I think that Kirsten Dunst's hair coloring in this one is
Oh, it's the worst of all. Yeah, let's
it's
not kid
because I
ourselves.
mean it's not a wig, but they dyed her hair, but it's not a good color.
No, I mean, if they're trying to tell us that Mary Jane is a natural redhead, this is not the way to go.
No, and her it's very different than her coloring in like Spider-Man 2 and 3.
Hmm.
But like other than that, like that's a small nitpick for me because I think her hair in this is actually very comic book accurate. It's just not very
Yeah,
realistic.
and because in the next one, it's kind of like an orangey red, you know?
Yeah, and then 3 it's even more like strawberry blondish.
Yeah, and Kirsten Dunst is a natural blonde,
Yes.
and so it's closer to what she already is. And
Yeah.
yeah, Mary Jane in the comics is definitely typically is more of a darker red.
Yeah, it's almost like a deep like auburn kind of.
Yeah.
Anyway, but like other than so there's stuff like that that's like fun and easy to pick apart, but overall I like this movie. I think it's a good origin story. I think it's executed well. I think that they have good parallels, like we talked about earlier, focusing on kind of father-son relationships, and Peter's, maybe like internal struggle with that.
Hmm.
Um, I think for the most part from everybody, it's well acted. And even rewatching it, like, uh, if I'm not going into it critical, I think it holds up fine.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I mean,
this movie's like a 10 out of 10 for me. I love it.
how many times do you think you've seen this movie and all like you had to ballpark it?
Oh, I can't count it. I mean, it was
Hmm.
one that I watched on repeat all the way up till probably high school
Yeah, me too.
because it was one of the first. I can remember the first 3 DVDs my family purchased, and this was one of them.
Oh my God, speaking of DVDs, so I put for watching this, I put my DVD in there, and it's probably the first DVD that came out. Like it's that old, and my TV couldn't play it because it could, but I know I have a like 50-inch screen, and that one was like, all right, full screen, and it's like this much of the TV. There's so
Yeah,
much negative space.
I don't know what happened with mine either because again, it's like one of the original DVDs I have. I had to rebuy this on Blu-ray because
Mhm.
it won't play on any player that I have in my house. It won't play on any of my like gaming consoles. It won't play in my actual Blu-ray player. It won't play in my I have an old school DVD player. Won't play it. And the disc is in fine condition. It's just, I don't know if it's like
It's outdated. Yeah.
just like worn out or if it's not compatible with TVs. But I had to get rid of it and get a Blu-ray copy.
Yeah, I was kind of upset when it looked that bad. And I was like, I gotta get a new. I have to replace it. Like I have to get a new. Like it's important enough that I need this movie on my shelf, but
Yeah.
I can't have this version because it's just. It thinks my TV is my TV from like 2003. That was like a box, you know.
Yeah.
So it's just not doable anymore, unfortunately. Watching it again though, and I think the last time I'd watched it was when we ran down not the Hollands. We watched the Maguires and the Garfields in anticipation of No Way Home because we were expecting them, but we didn't have time to do the Hollands, so we just did those two. So it's been since then for me. So it's been about 4.5 years, and this time watching it, I did notice some of the datedness, but only really in the first act. I think the first act is the weakest of the rest. I think once he becomes Spider-Man and you get like the montage of, people in the crowd talking about Spider-Man interviews, the rest of the movie is amazing after that. Like the rest of the movie is perfect. I think the first 40 minutes or so is okay. I think especially like how he gets bit by the spider is kind of hokey. I'm like, oh, this is how it happens because they didn't keep a spider in containment. Okay. Some of the editing of the movie is very early 2000s, especially in that opening sequence. Like when Peter's having like his like overnight transformation, there's like a skull flashing in front of his face,
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, oh, we stopped doing that pretty soon after this.
Yep.
That was a very late 90s, early 2000s thing to do.
It's
And
also
a
a
lot of
very like Sam Raimi thing to do.
Yes, and Sam Raimi, I mean, he comes from camp, he did the Evil Dead movies. So that's normal. I didn't think though that the campiness was like didn't work for me on this
No,
rewatch.
this movie, I think this movie is heavy camp, but it's one of the only times that it really does work because I think this is the most like comic book feeling superhero movie
Mhm.
because of that camp. Like I think it just feels like reading a comic book. Even I don't know. So I think in that regard, like I know that's not really the way that most superhero movies are now, but this one is
Mhm.
very, to me, feels very like comic strippy, and I love the campiness for that.
And I mean, you were saying how like at the time you might have winced hearing that Sam Raimi was doing this, but you know, on release, it had to have been like, oh, that wasn't nearly as campy as I was worried it was going to be.
Yeah.
Like he definitely dialed it down. Like he didn't keep up what he didn't. Yeah. The only the one part that people mention in terms of the camp that they don't like is at the end when Norman gets impaled. When Peter dodges it, he goes, "Oh," and then you know.
Yeah.
But even this time, I mean, do I think he would say that? No. But in that moment, but it doesn't kill it for me. Still,
Yeah.
that scene. Well, let's talk about, since we just talked about Willem Dafoe, let's talk about the actors. I mean, I don't know if Green Goblin is my favorite villain in the live action movies, but I think Willem Dafoe is like delicious to watch. Like he is totally into it, and I love his insanity. He's perfect.
Oh yeah. It's incredible.
And I mean, he gives like 110%. Like he's one of those actors he has no qualms and inhibitions. So, this scene where my favorite scene of him in this movie is where the goblin persona first presents itself to him after he like wakes up from his like murder rampage,
Uh-huh.
and you get like that Jekyll and Hyde moment of him in the mirror. And you can watch like, because when he's approaching the mirror, you can see him doing both versions if you look closely enough, like Norman and Goblin, and that's just him transitioning like in the scene as the actor, like just going back and forth, back and forth. It's really cool to watch.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's like Norman's a role that I think could have been very like boring. Like I think any of those list of actors you had read off could play like the corporate Norman, the
Mm-hmm.
businessman Norman, the like kind of neglectful, like mean father Norman. And even then you can have Norman who's just turns into the goblin and like doesn't really remember anything, whatever. But to have like the really kind of like the lunacy of like crazy split personality, like Mr. Hyde, Green Goblin, I don't know that any of them would have like leaned into it or had as much fun with it as Willem Dafoe. You
Mm-hmm.
know? Like, I think there's other performances that probably would have been acceptable, but I think his is really cemented as, like, iconic.
One of the criticisms that people have for this movie, then and kind of now, if you ask the right people, I guess, is that they don't like the Green Goblin suit. They think it looks like too stiff, and the mask is. I don't have that opinion. It works fine for me. But I think part of the reason why it works fine for me is that even though you can barely see his expressions behind his mask, like in his mouthpiece and eyes,
Uh-huh.
but his voice carries that role. So having a less animated voice, then I might be saying like, oh yeah, the Goblin doesn't work for me. But because it is Willem Dafoe and he's giving like 150% in the goofy department in terms of like evil persona,
Yeah.
it really works.
Well, and as far as the suit goes, like, I like it. I mean, it's fine. I understand the trouble with it, though, because Green Goblin is not a suited character in the comics. He's like an organic being, you know?
Well, it's a little yeah. It's not. He's not like armor. I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
He
But I mean, he
he looks
looks
more
like,
like a fantasy villain goblin is what he looks like.
yes, and he looks very like medieval kind of in like the comics. He's wearing like the pointed hat and like the like tunic, and he has like the pouch with the rope belt. He looks more like goblin-y. So I get like why they couldn't really do that with this. Um the only qualm I have with it is that this is being designed as a military weapon, like the glider and the
Mhm.
flight suit, right? I would say if I'm going to be like if I was in the military, I don't know what the design of having like a goblin face would be, or to make it like shiny emerald green, because it's just not great to not draw attention to yourself.
Oh, but and this is one of the questions I have. They never actually say where he gets the mask from, because like they show the guy in the suit testing out the glider in the beginning
Yeah.
before the transformation, but he's not wearing the mask. So like the first time you see the mask is when he is Green Goblin. You don't ever see where he gets it
Yeah,
from.
so I'm assuming that in the movie he just like makes the mask afterwards. And maybe that's it, because even when they go in for like the military test and he blows up the investors, like I don't think that the suit doesn't have like a mask at that point either. Like I don't think like I don't know.
I just Googled it. It said that it's supposed to be implied that he made the mask himself.
Yeah.
And the whole scene of him looking at the like tribal masks is, you know, shows that he's
Oh, that's his kind of inspiration for it.
that's a big leap from, something you stole from some like African tribe to Green Goblin mask. But
Yeah.
oh, and one other thing about this movie that also is a little bit unbelievable, I don't buy for a second that Peter Parker can make that Spider-Man suit. Not the first one. The first one, yes, I absolutely believe they could make that rinky-dink suit. But the main one, the one we get for the rest of the time, no way. No way.
No.
He gets like a master seamstress.
Plus, I'm gonna say it too. Out of all the Spider-Mans, I think that the Tobey Maguire suit is my favorite.
Me too, actually. I like
Yeah, I like the eyes
the
on it.
the eyes are good, and the what do you call it, the texture, like the ridges on
Uh-huh.
of the webs are cool. It gives it
Yep.
like depth.
It's my favorite one.
When I replay Spider-Man the games, I will often do the Raimi suits.
Yep.
Although I will honorable mention Andrew Garfield's second suit. I like that one too. Let's talk about Peter. So I think Tobey Maguire is a pretty good casting for this. Like in terms of like the nerdy Peter shy, like perfect. No notes.
Yeah.
Like he is
Yeah,
a total dweeb. You believe it.
for sure. I think that I don't believe his like Spider-Man as much. You know? Like
How
his kind
so?
of like his like trash talking, like smart mouth Spider-Man. Like he's got good lines but I just it's not my favorite.
Mm-hmm. That's not uncommon criticism.
Yeah, so I would say like again, not to stray too far from this movie, but I think like Tobey Maguire is like a better Peter Parker, and then I think Andrew Garfield is a better Spider-Man.
Yeah,
But then I also think that Tom Holland is kind of just better overall at both of them.
sure. But you know, like I like this quippy version of Spider-Man because I mean he's not so clever that I don't believe it's Peter under there. You know,
Yeah.
like he's definitely like in terms of like comedic quips, he's lower on the witticisms than Garfield and Holland. But like I absolutely believe that like this dweeb who is like a total nerd and is finally playing dress up hero would, you know, kind of be kind of geeky in that way as Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So I think it works for the movies that he's in. Even if it's not like Spider-Man as we usually know him in other media.
Yeah, correct.
But yeah, I think I mean, I don't know if this is like my nostalgia talking, but Maguire is my favorite Peter Parker Spider-Man combo, personally.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say I don't. Like if I had to pick one, I think I'd still just pick Toby.
I mean, they really after this one, they really get away from Peter being like a awkward nerd. Like in the next one with Garfield, he's like a skateboarder. He's so cool.
Yeah, I don't like Garfield's Peter. I don't like.
Tom Holland is also kind of dweeby, but more like realistically dweeby. You know,
Yeah,
it's not so like cartoonish stereotype dweeby. So it's I guess you could say that's a plus for him too. But this is the only one where Peter is a flat out dork, like no friends. Like he is like social anxiety, like in a nutshell.
yeah, he's just like a straight up loser in this one.
Yeah. And the only way he'd be cool is when he speaks from the heart, is when he has the scene with Mary Jane and he, you know, he can be authentic and, you know. Speaking of Mary Jane, uh I really do like her in this movie too. I think Kristen Dunst does a really good job still in this one.
Yeah, I like Christian Dunst in this a lot, actually.
And to get into specific moments of the movie, I think this movie has really good, really like balls for ending the way it does, where you know she kisses him, she professes her love for him, and then he walks away out of like out of valor and caring, but still like can you think of a movie where like the guy gets the girl and then says no?
Well, and especially this one where he's been like specifically pining after this girl since they were like kids. You know, he lived
Mm-hmm.
next door to her. He's always been in love with her. And then to go through even the stages of this movie where he kind of gets to like befriend her a little bit, and then his best friend starts dating her. And it's like, oh, well, that's horrible to have to sit through, you know? And then to finally get her at the end where she's like, oh, yeah, like Pete, it's always been you. And yeah, I think this movie is like kind of discredited for how good its like emotional scenes are, and especially how
Mm,
good like Mary Jane's scenes are because she really is like the heart of this movie, I think.
yeah.
Um yeah, but I like how that's done too because you don't see it a lot where he's like, "Nope, sorry." Again, like greater good. I got to put
Yeah, and
everybody else before myself.
it leans into how he's accepted who he is as Spider-Man and what that means for the people he loves and the people he doesn't know but saves anyway. You know, like this is a really good origin story in the sense that you start the movie with Peter is this, you know, and then at the end of the movie he's Spider-Man and it's so definite in terms of how he sees himself, you know?
Yeah.
So I think like in terms of like no, like in terms of like the origin story template, in terms of like the arc, it's like pretty perfect.
Yeah, I think so too.
The last thing I'll say is great Thanksgiving movie. One of the
It
few.
really does feel like a Thanksgiving movie, though.
Well, yeah, I mean it's set and they have a scene. Oh my,
It's a
that scene
very
pisses me off so much because not just because Norman's an asshole in that scene when he finds out that Peter is Spider-Man, but
yeah.
if I were him, and that meal looks so, I'm a Thanksgiving fan. I love Thanksgiving. I love the food. I love the idea of it.
Uh-huh.
And that meal looks so fucking good. I like if I were him, I'd be like, "Oh, you're Spider-Man, but this food is I can't. I'm not gonna ruin this." Like it's and then because he ruins it for everybody. Like Mary Jane leaves next, and then Aunt May gets pissed at Harry, and I'm like, "Look at this food! I had to cringe at that scene.
It's like just wait an hour and then eat and then do this bullshit.
I mean, I know like Thanksgiving you're supposed to fight, but not before you start eating. Awful film now. I hate it.
Awful film now.
Okay, let's go. Let's move on to post-release stuff. So, box office opening days makes $39.4 million, which would be 72.9. Tanner, last week I kind of asked you if you wanted to switch movies, you can. I have an idea for a new game as I
Oh,
recap the top 10.
okay.
So basically, you're again time traveling back to '02, and you're sitting in the theater for Spider-Man, and every movie in the top 10 that weekend is also playing at your theater. Now, your objective in this game is to pick the best movie currently playing. So in the top 10. And best
Okay.
according to you, your own objective opinion, subjective opinion. However, we'll start with Spider-Man, since that's the movie we're talking about. If you want to see Spider-Man, all you have to do is say, "Nope, I'm staying right here," as if you're like betting on cards or whatever.
Okay.
I'm gonna stay. If you leave though, you can't come back to Spider-Man.
Ver?
No. So you can take the risk that one of the next 9 movies is better than Spider-Man. And
I can't play this round, Tim. There's too many good O2 movies. I already know what's coming.
no, but it's May of '02. It's this weekend, this opening weekend.
Okay. All
So
right.
if you want, you can stay right here with Spider-Man. We don't play another round. I'll still say the movies in the top 10. But if you leave Spider-Man now, then you can't come back to it. And eventually, if you do, you will stick with whatever, eventually you'll say, "Okay, I'm sticking with this movie now that I picked it." Or you can go until the end, wait until the number 10 movie that weekend. So Spider-Man, are you staying or passing? Are you leaving or
Staying.
passing? You're staying.
Staying.
But that's the game. It's over. You pick Spider-Man. Okay. It'll make more sense when we have movies that are not as good. But
But I just
okay, so
but you're saying you said May at first, and now it's like the top 10 movies for that year.
well, and then whatever came out before that, like April, I guess.
Okay, but then I can't play this round because I have Chamber of Secrets this year. I have The Two Towers this year. It's not going to happen.
Well, that's part of it because, like, you know that it didn't come out, but you don't know what else is playing that weekend. So now I'm gonna run to the movies and see if you think you won this round. Did you pick the best movie?
Okay.
So Tanner, you passed up, and I'm gonna go in order of the box office top 10. You passed up The Scorpion King, Changing Lanes, Murder by Numbers, Life or Something Like It,
So far I'm winning.
The Rookie, Deuces Wild, Ice Age, Jason X, and Panic Room.
Oh, the only one I'm upset about on that list is Panic Room.
But
'Cause it's
did you pick the best movie?
Yes.
According to you.
Yes.
Okay, so you won. Congratulations. You won.
Yay.
And I want to play this again when we get to like Spider-Man like 3, where it's a little bit like, murkier or like, not obvious great movies.
Yeah.
So, and when I was assembling this list, I was like, "Oh, this is going to be one of those ones where he should not leave the theater."
No.
Because I don't even like Changing Lanes, Murder by Numbers, Life or Something Like It. I don't know what any of those are.
Life or Something Like It was the Angelina Jolie movie, right?
I don't know.
where she's blonde, where she dies.
According to the spoiler alert, I haven't seen it.
It's in the opening.
Oh, well, she's in the whole movie.
Yeah, she's like a ghost.
Oh, okay, whatever.
It's really bad.
Okay.
She's like a weather girl or something, or like a reporter, and she gets like struck by lightning or hit by a car or something and dies. And it's garbage.
Okay. Well. Okay. Anyway, I just wanted to try that, and maybe that'll be a better game later on for a little more mid movies, I guess, as we go. But I also want to do that before I do the opening Barbenheimer movie. So this movie opened alongside of those Deuces Wild, which I don't also know what that is either.
Nope.
But Tanner, your Barbenheimer title this week is Deuces Man.
Oh, Deuces
What's
Man.
the plot? What's
Deuces Man? It's a rolling traveler. He's rolling through Vegas. He's a gambling man. He gets in with the wrong crowd. He owes a lot of money to Danny DeVito. Danny DeVito is like the mob boss in this movie.
Sure.
It's a comedy, I think.
Okay.
And then he's trying to swindle his way through every major casino on the strip. And in the meantime, he meets a showgirl down on her luck, struggling. She also owes money to somebody, but he doesn't know who. Ends up being the same guy, still Danny DeVito's crew. Part of her payment is to help track down this guy that Danny DeVito's looking for. They don't know that. They start banging. They're having a great time. They're living on the edge. She ends up having to betray him. He goes on the run. I don't know how the ending were. I'm into it though. I could pitch this out.
Who is playing Deuces Man?
I don't know. It's probably like Nicolas Cage. I just feel like something terrible like that.
Like Leaving Las Vegas, but
yes. See, and now I feel like I'm just copying a different movie.
No, I didn't get any Dolores Claiborne vibes this weekend.
Okay, good. Yeah. I'm gonna say I think Nicolas Cage. If this also feels like a very like 2001 movie.
Yeah, especially with Danny DeVito.
Yeah, maybe even like a 2004, and that's Cap.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and who's our showgirl? I don't even know. It's
Parker Posey.
I would love that. I just don't think I would like her with Nicolas Cage. I was thinking like Nicole Kidman, but she's too serious. I don't want to put her in a comedy.
It'd be like Moulin Rouge, Nicole Kidman.
Yeah, which would look good. I mean, she looks great as a showgirl in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know, minus the typhoid she's dying from. Yeah, let's go with Parker Posey. Parker Posey and Nick Cage. Deuces Man.
Right. Deuces Man coming to the theater near you.
Summer 2001.
Okay, back to box office. Spider-Man is the #1 movie of 2002 by its second weekend. It dethrones Ice Age at the time. It is also the #1 for 2 weekends at the box office, and it relents that title to one of our past movies we talked about. Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones unseats it. Although in that third weekend, it still beat the opening weekend of About a Boy, the Hugh Grant movie. Domestically, this movie makes $403.7 million, which today would be $747.3. It is the #1 movie of 2002 domestically. #2 movie that year is The Two Towers, Lord of the Rings, which comes in just about $70 million, but behind it at $339.
Okay.
Adjusted for inflation, Spider-Man is the #4 movie all-time domestic.
Still?
Yeah.
Wow.
Right above it, on number 39, is Ghostbusters, the first one. And below it at 41 is Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Surprising.
Worldwide, this movie makes $821.7 million, which today would be $1.5 billion. It is the #3 movie, though, worldwide. So it goes down from #1 domestically to 3 for worldwide, which just kind of shows how Spider-Man wasn't as much of a global appeal as it was in the States as the #1 movie, Two Towers, which had it at $936 million, and #2, Harry Potter: The Chamber of Secrets, at $878 million. And the one below it was Attack of the Clones #4 at $653 million. And with a budget of $139 million, Spider-Man pretty much makes a good profit. So, good on you. Reception wise, this movie gets great reviews from critics who praise the acting, action, casting, score, and spirit of the movie. Again, some of the negatives, though, were the campy tone for some people. They didn't like it. The goblin costume, again, was not a huge popular design, but, we've already defended it. The online scores for this movie currently, it's got a 90% on Rotten Tomatoes with a 67% audience score. It's got a 73 out of 100 on Metacritic with an 8.3 out of 10, a 7.4 out of 10 on IMDb, a 3.9 out of 5 on Letterboxd, which is tied with Spider-Man 2 for the franchise high for all the live action movies so far, and an A- cinema score. So people coming out of the theater also really liking it.
Good. I would
Accolades. This movie
agree.
gets 2 Oscar nominations for Best Sound. It loses to Chicago, the Best Picture winner that year. And Best Visual Effects, it loses to The Two Towers. Which, how are you going to beat that?
Yeah, I would also agree because I think that like Two Towers holds up better effects wise than this does today.
Yeah. Normally, I only mention the Academy Awards and the Raspberries as like the two, ends of the spectrum for awards,
Mhm.
Stuff. But I did want to mention the MTV Movie Awards because this does win Best Kiss.
Yeah, and it still is cemented as like the best MTV's Best Kiss award winner.
Oh,
Tobey
how did we
Maguire.
not talk about this kiss during the review section of the movie?
I don't know, but that's another just like iconic moment.
I only mention it because I always think of Tropic Thunder when I think of this movie. In
Yeah.
the fake trailers with Robert Downey Jr. and Tobey Maguire, it's like Academy Award nominee Kirk Lazarus, which RDJ's playing in that movie, and Best Kiss MTV Movie winner, Best Kiss winner Tobey Maguire. Satan's Alley.
I'm still waiting for that movie to come out.
I've been a bad, bad boy, father. It's one of the best things Tobey Maguire's done is that trailer. But no, I mean, just to speak on the kiss scene though, since we glossed over it earlier. Yeah, great cinematic moment. Like, I feel like that could have been too extra, but I mean, by leaning into it, I feel like they pulled it off.
Sure. Yeah. I don't know that it's like the best tone right after Mary Jane narrowly escapes impending sexual assault.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is she gonna want to kiss this guy after she was almost raped in an alley? Maybe not, but
Well, either it's very cold out there, or she's really into it because
yeah.
it's a little nipply outside, nippy outside.
But yeah, the kiss part though, love cemented in film history.
Yeah. Well, apparently Tobey Maguire, it was really hard for him to film that upside down with the water pouring into like his nose.
Oh yeah, I would not want to do that.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been. I feel like in theory that's a cool kiss, but if you wanted to actually practice that with actual rain, I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to the legacy portion of this podcast. So again, we kind of talked about how already this movie is pretty much a watershed moment for superhero movies. Like it's like one of the most copied movies of all time.
Mm-hmm.
All origin story movies kind of take a key from this. In terms of the actors or the people who would on this movie where their careers would go from this, I'm probably saving most of them for Spider-Man 3 since they all kind of come back after this movie. I mean, even Willem Dafoe comes back in a cameo in 2 and 3. But I did want to mention him for this one. This is his big moment. Like he kind of becomes like a way bigger actor after this one. Like his filmography in the 90s, if you look at it, it's not a lot of big hits. And then he does Spider-Man, and all of a sudden he's in like everything. And I feel like if you took us out of his filmography, Spider-Man, he's not nearly as celebrated of an actor.
No, and I don't think he would have ever gotten like, because I mean, even now, Willem Dafoe gets a ton of stuff. I mean, mainly it's because Eggers has just like a huge thing for him. But yeah, I think it was a little bit of a resurgence for him, I think.
Yeah, I love Willem Dafoe. He's so good. I mean, before this, he had done like Platoon. He was nominated for that, but I don't really think of him when I think of that movie.
No.
Except for that, speaking of Tropic Thunder, that moment that's parody with the arms up in the air, as he gets shot to death. But, and he was like in The Last Temptation of Christ was a big movie, but that was really, really controversial in the 80s. And then like Speed 2.
Ugh.
Like, can you imagine if someone saw Speed 2 and was like, oh, we can't put him as the villain in this movie? He'd be terrible.
I
Thank
that
God.
movie. I just wish that movie didn't exist.
Everyone says that pretty much. Okay, anyway, so we'll save a lot of the actors for the next couple times in terms of how their roles affect their career. But Tanner, so we're done with Spider-Man, the first movie. So we are officially one movie in on our new franchise.
Boom, love it. Love this franchise. Can't wait.
But before we go, we always do
Pop culture shoutouts.
pop culture shoutouts. Tanner, you said
Um,
you didn't have anything before we started this podcast. Did you think of something to talk about?
no, my pop culture shoutout is a follow-up from last week, so you go ahead and go first.
So this weekend I saw Obsession, the new horror movie from
Oh, yeah.
Blumhouse. Great.
I
Much love.
literally was like, with Beyonce and Ali Larter, that's super old.
Not obsessed. Obsession.
Okay, good.
This was one of my most anticipated movies of the year, just by trailer alone. Like, the first teaser was just like the guy in the car talking about like, can I take back my wish? Is she gonna be like this forever? And I was like, oh, I gotta know what this movie's about. I gotta know, like, oh, is she crazy? And it didn't disappoint. It was really like there are some horror movies that like you're like they're just like cringe fests the whole way through,
Yeah,
but in a good way. And this is one of them.
good.
Like, it makes me cringe with the horror, but also with like the social angle of this girl going crazy. It's just like, oh, I love it.
Ooh, I love it.
And I will say, the girl who plays the main girl in this movie who gets like the love spell put on her. Her name is Indy Neveretti. I think that's how you pronounce it. Future star. I'm calling her right now. She is
Yeah.
incredible in this. She is
Okay.
so unnerving.
Yeah, it was just kind of like a back burner movie to me too, because I'm not a big horror guy unless it's like a slasher.
Mhm.
But I would like to see it. So I'll put it on my list.
This one's a little bit more like a supernatural, like maybe a little more psychological horror, but I mean, it does get a little bit grisly at points, like it does earn the horror brand.
Okay.
So yeah, one of the best movies of the year so far. I
Good.
really, really liked it.
Tim, my pop culture shout out is I would like
Yes.
to know, following up on last week's episode when I asked you which bending faction you were in, I'd like to know if you delved into that and what you found out.
I did, Tanner. I did take an online test. In fact, I found the official one for Avatar online. And it wasn't a long one. It was like 5 questions maybe. Like, what's your favorite like mythical creature from this universe? What food
Oh,
would you eat, What's your fighting style? And I got Water Nation, weirdly.
really?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about
That
that.
Yeah, it kind of surprises me actually.
I mean, I think in terms of like I would love to live in the Water Nation, preferably Northern Water Tribe, because the Southern one
I don't want to live in
sucks.
the southern tribe with the pores.
But I like the snow a lot, so I don't know. I just feel like I would more of like an earthbendy kind of vibe. That's what I said last week.
Uh-huh.
Um, in terms of like culture, so I don't know. I mean, definitely not fire. That's not me at all, and not air either. So yeah, I mean, water maybe my second option, but yeah. So now I guess I'm officially a waterbender. So there you go.
Okay, all right. Well, welcome to the tribe.
Thank you. I also took just because of curiosity, I also took tests for um because we mentioned the Harry Potter one, which of course Ravenclaw, as always. But I also wanted to test since I was on that trajectory. I tested for Game of Thrones as well. I got House Martell, for that one, weirdly.
Oh, Tim, see, we lost our 2 for 2 streak because I'm also Waterbender Ravenclaw. I am a Targaryen, though, on Game of
Right.
Thrones.
Right, you mentioned that. And I don't, I didn't think I would have gotten Martell. When I got that, I was kind of surprised. Um, see, because Dorne is not where I'd want to hang out in that
Hell
universe.
no. I don't want the
It-
heat. I don't want the sand.
but I guess in terms of like their attitudes and like the Dornish are like really progressive, so that's what they told me is that you're progressive. I'm like, okay, cool. I was hoping to get Stark because I want to hang out in the North, but that's fine.
Okay, all right.
And then I also took because I just read Divergent, the first book, which I thought was it was all right. I did that quiz too for like what faction you'd be. And I got Amity, which is the like peace people.
Oh, that's like the Hufflepuff of the.
Yeah, I'm a hippie apparently in that world.
Okay. I don't know what I would be. I've never taken a Divergent test because I was never like a big fan of that series, but I don't know what I would be.
But like the other options, like none of them appeal to me. Like I'm not Dauntless at all. I'm not Candor because that's just like saying everything that's true and everything that's on your mind, which would be really awkward. I'm not. I guess I could be erudite in terms of like knowledge. Maybe that's like Ravenclaw esque.
Yeah.
But they're also assholes. So and then abnegation's just really sad.
It's like you're the flower of the group. Like you're just bland, boring,
Yeah.
nothing, no spice to you, nothing in your life.
Yeah. So yeah. I'm a weird melange of Ravenclaw, Water Tribe or Water Nation, Dorne, and Amity.
Good. Love that for
There you
you.
go. There you go. I don't know like what else I would like. What's the other thing to quiz? Like, what thing are you from pop culture? Like in terms of like that kind of like where would you fit in? Like not like what Sex and the City character are you, but like like where
I'm
was your
Samantha. I sleep with everyone.
not us, buddy. No. Look at this guy.
Oh, God, I love that movie.
Didn't you reference Running Sarah Marshall at the beginning of this podcast too?
I would reference Forgetting Sarah Marshall every day of the week. Well, that was my pop culture shout out. I just really wanted some closure on that. So thank you.
Your pop culture shout out was just asking me for my follow up.
Yeah, but it's follow ups to pop culture quizzes.
Okay. Very important. Yes. Okay, guys, thank you so much for listening to this episode. We are wrapping up. So this, of course, is the start of our new Spider-Man rundown. Next week, we are doing Spider-Man 2 from 2004. Very excited for that one.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for listening. And we hope that you guys listen through this franchise as well and watch them along with us. We'd love to hear what you think about the movies as well as you watch them with us. You guys can find us wherever you get your podcasts. Please rate and review us too. It really helps us out. And you can also get in contact with us elsewhere. I am on Letterboxd at TGMacman.
If you guys want to get in touch with me, I'm on the gram, Tanwil10.
And if you guys want to ask us questions, we have an email address called questions@backtothefranchise.com, and we will answer whatever you guys want us to talk about. So
Yeah, please send us questions. I'm looking forward to them.
pick our brains. But until next week, thank you guys so much.
See you next week.